Hello, my name is Colby Dent. I am a senior at Kennesaw State University, and I am currently completing my internship at Moore Civil Consulting out of Perry, Georgia. And what we do is basically make civil site plans for land developers and construction companies. From day one of this internship, me and my boss decided that just throwing myself in and trying to do my best and come to him and my other coworkers with questions was the best way to get me to learn the ropes, and it did. So what I've been doing this past summer is creating the site plans, and our plans have ranged from C100 all the way to C800 and something. And a brief description of all of them is we have our C100, which is basically just a title page with brief descriptions of things and names the land developers and owners. And next we have our C110, which is our existing condition sheet. And this is basically what the surveyors send us. It includes all of the existing utilities, existing buildings, anything that we are not proposing. Next we have our C200, and this is our proposed site condition. This is basically where it's the prettiest page. It's where we show everything that we are proposing to do. Next you have our C300, and in this page is all of our grading. And this is where most of the work is done, and it's where we have to show how we're gonna tie everything together. How are we gonna make sure that this parking lot doesn't have an area where water stacks up. It's gonna make sure that everything, also this is where you make sure that you're not having to haul a lot of dirt in or out, because that can get very expensive. Next we have our C400, and on this page is all water management. This is where you do your storm pipes. You have to show where you're draining your water to. It's very important. And with this sheet also comes usually a C410. This is where you have to show all of your pipes. Sometimes you won't have a lot of pipes depending on the project you're working on, but most of the time you're gonna have different pipe networks, and you have to show how the pipe chart, it's gonna show your existing ground, your proposed finished ground. It's gonna show your hydraulic grade line. It's very important for the construction company to see. Next, you have our C500, and this is your utility page. This is where you're gonna show how, you don't always need these, but most of the time if you're doing a convenience store, a retail store, gas station, you have to show the water lines, you have to show your sewage lines, you have to show cleanouts for these sewage lines, you have to show grease traps. It's pretty intricate. And next we have our C600. Well, it's not just C600, because from here you have your erosion control plan phases. And if you are under 1 acre of disturbance, you only have to have one sheet, just a C600. But if, like most projects, if it's over 1 acre, you have to have 3 phases. Phase 1 is basic. It's at the very beginning of construction. On this phase, there's no grading done, there's no utility, it's all the existing. You're just gonna show how are you gonna keep all of this silt, all of this clay, how are you gonna keep this inside your disturbance area. Next, not next, but when you have 3 phases, you have your 620. And in this phase, you have to show your grading. You have to show how are you going to cover existing pipes and inlets. How are you gonna keep, it's the same thing as C610, but it's a little more, the land is a little more developed. And then our C630, this is when all the grading is shown, all paving if you're doing any kind of parking lot or roadway. And you also have to show all the utility lines in the C630. And then after C630, this is when we just start to get into a lot of the details and showing. It's more for the construction side. We have a lot of details. We have a lot of pictures of how things are supposed to be put in. I will show examples of this because it's hard to articulate. I've put together a portfolio of projects that I've worked on over this summer, and all of these projects have been submitted to the city to be permitted. But first, this is the biggest struggle with consulting is revisions, because you have to work with the land developer or the owner who is asking for something, but you also have to work with city departments that have ordinances, that have ways they want things done. And one thing that my boss has taught me is to stay away from Georgia DOT, because they can be a pain in the butt, and I've had to deal with them for one of my projects, and they are hard to get answers out of, and they take a long time, which can just slow down the timeline of, it slows down the timeline, and this can make the landowner mad, and it just creates a lot of cluster. And this is, I believe, the biggest problem with consulting. Here's an example of a C100 sheet. As you can see, it gives the name of the site. It gives you a narrative of what is going on, what we are doing. Gives you general notes for the contractor and construction group. In the top right, you can see we have pretty much a table of contents, and we also usually list the amount of total disturbance, but this one was less than an acre, so it was not needed. Here's an example of a C110 sheet that I did, and as you can see, that we have existing gravel / asphalt, we have an existing debris pile shown, but not only that, we also are showing what we are getting rid of. Towards the right center, you can see an outline portion of the gravel that we are removing to input our proposed driveway. Here you can see a C200 sheet I did, and on this sheet we are showing all of our proposed improvements to the site. You can see that we have parking spaces shown and labeled with how many in each row. You can see that we have ADA spaces labeled, ADA signs labeled. We have all of our radiuses shown. We have building square footage shown. Like I said earlier, this is the prettiest sheet. This is a C300 sheet, and let me tell you, this project we had to do over about 3 or 4 different times just because the landowner, we had to change some things up because we were hauling a lot of dirt in and out, which cost the landowner a lot of money. So we had to find the best possible solution to make sure he's not wasting money on moving dirt. And as you can see, the contours are darkened, and we have 2 proposed detention ponds, each for one of the concrete pads. And this one was sent in to get approved not too long ago. This is our C400 sheet. And this is the same Watson Retail that I showed you a couple of pictures ago. And as you can see, we have all of our pipes labeled. We have all of our inlets shown and labeled as well. I believe in this one we had 3 different pipe systems, all connecting to a main inlet to get out. Now, usually you can just fit your pipe charts and pipe profiles on the same sheet as your C400, but for this one, this was one of the first projects that I did and worked on, and I didn't do it wrong, but instead of making my pipe system one long profile, I did it by each pipe. I would not do that now just because it takes so much time. It's way easier to just do each pipe system in one profile. This is an example of a C500, and as you can see on the left-hand side, we have our cleanouts. This particular landowner said that they would not need any grease traps, so we did not put any in, but you can see all of the many water and sewer lines connecting. This is the first sheet in our erosion control plan, and as you can see, we have a concrete washdown, we have a pond for silt storage, and we had to do this because the county told us that we could not use silt fence as a silt storage. And they also required us to show our pre-development map and our post-development map on the right-hand side. This is phase 2 of the erosion control plan. As you can see, all grading lines are shown in this. And unlike the pond in the first phase, now you can see that it is fully graded out, and we even have our forebay and our micro pool shown. This is phase 3 of the erosion control plan. As you can see that in the middle of the picture, there is a road actually shown. See, this project didn't include any utilities, but in this phase is when you would show your utility lines for water and sewer. Here we have our C700 sheets, and these sheets have everything to do with the erosion control plan. On the first sheet, you can see on the far left-hand side, there is a checklist for the reviewer to go through and check us on. It also shows the map, a review of the narrative. It tells you disturbed area, and the next sheets show a construction plan, a timeline of when these protective things need to be put up. And we also have details for all of the protections we are putting on drains, putting around our area, putting over inlets. It is very important for the erosion control plan. On the C800 page, we're usually giving details for the construction company. As you can see, we have details for a walk ramp, concrete sidewalk, traffic stripping, stop bars, and the word. This is all for the construction company. Our C810 page has everything to do with details for sewer, sanitary, and water lines. Here we will show details for things like our hookups and our cleanouts and our grease traps. Overall, this internship has been very enjoyable, and I've learned so much. My boss, Robert Moore, my co-workers, Cam Forrester and Daniel Arias, they have taught me so much when it comes to civil design and just civil engineering in general. Because, not that long ago, they were all in my same shoes, and they made that clear to me. They let me know that when they first started their jobs, they had no idea what they were even doing. And me coming in here, they taught me so much about CAD design. I've probably asked them a million questions, and without a blink, they, no matter how dumb or stupid it may have been or sounded, they were there for me, and they helped me through everything. They helped me with all of the softwares within CAD, like storm sewers, hydrographs, and they've taught me many engineer standings and how wide roads need to be for trucks to turn, how thick curbs need to be, how many fire hydrants you need in a certain area. They've taught me so much about grading, how to tie grades in through curbs, just so many things. They've offered so much knowledge and were never rude or mean about it. And I built a connection with them that I think will last through this internship, which is a good thing.